Okay, let's now look at our accounts receivable and accounts payable in more detail. Within Business Central, as mentioned before, all modules are included. This includes obviously customers and suppliers, but on top of that, it also includes my approval workflows. Now, approval workflows again is a video I'll do separately. If I go look at a customer, you can, for any master data, so this could be GL accounts as well, or stock items, you can link approvals next to it. Now, approval, again, like I said, we'll do that separately. That's not being configured, but what that effectively means is we can put a hold on this customer that before we can transact to this customer, it has to be approved without blocking the person from creating it. So, for example, earlier when we created preferred solutions as a customer in the modern workplace video or section of this talk, we then effectively could have created them, not be blocked, created quotes against an account. But before we could do any orders, that account would have had to be approved. Not everything you can imagine we can now create against this customer. A really cool feature here is that we can do those linked accounts. So what I mean by that is we could actually have a customer that we sell to, and then a different customer that the bill goes to. And we can configure that within the customer, and I'll show you then again later. So this customer here under invoicing would be the customer that the bill goes to, but the customer at top here is the customer that the sale goes to, or the goods goes to. I will show you when we capture an order just now. Then we can also say how this customer pays, so that's obviously the payment terms. Business Central can handle something called prepayments. So that's when we do a sales order, we can say, well, we expect a 50% or 100% prepayment, so you can call it a deposit if you wanted to. That then creates what we call a prepayment invoice that the system will expect to be allocated to the invoice we're trying to process before we could ship the goods. Then again, the shipping, we can configure the default shipping method. So if you do shipping yourselves, you can configure this. And under statistics, this will just show you the statistics of this account. Again, graphs are in here, and then all of the amounts you see, well, you can actually drill into to get further information. Now, let's go look at the open orders for the customer. So on the fact box here on the right-hand side, again, attachments are here, and then details. I could go to a document. So let's go to, for example, to one of the sales order documents, and this is where this is just a random open order that I've got with this customer. We spoke earlier about in the finance section of our talk about cash flow, and what you can actually do is you can go and have AI predict the payment on quotes and orders and invoices. So here you can see that I've got a high predicted payment on time with confidence, with a high confidence. So this is based on R-script models that is provided by Microsoft, and it gives me that prediction on the invoice. That prediction then obviously carries forward into things like machine learning, cash flow. And that's based on the habits of this customer, irrespective of his current balance. So I would know, okay, well, he asked for discount, I can give him discount because he's typically, we're very confident that he's going to pay us on time, for example. So this is obviously the sales order document. If I go show more here, you can also see all the various dates you can configure. A common question is salespeople, so you can configure salespeople and commissions on this. If this was linked to a sales opportunity through the CRM, obviously link this here. The campaign, let's say if you've got some campaign running for, you could obviously link that to the campaign. If this came through the opportunity, it would typically already be linked to a campaign. I mean, you wouldn't have to link them separately. And you'd, if we followed the creating a new quote, we could actually create the opportunity first before we go create the quotes, and in that case, that will also be pre-populated. Then, obviously, you can see the lines. We looked at this a bit earlier, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here. But I could effectively then, under my invoice details, go and again change currency. Within Business Central, foreign currency is a function of the transaction, not necessarily just of the main account. So what that means is you could trade within multiple currencies per customer. So if you have a customer that sometimes wants you to invoice them in US dollars and other times wants you to invoice them in kwachas, you'd be able to do that on the same account. The statements, you could then tell the statement to print the transaction either in a single currency or in the original transaction currency. And then shipping and billing. So we can then override the shipping and bill to customer on this account. So again, this could be set to default, and this is also set to default here. Obviously, meaning is that it could be another customer that we configured. Or we can say, well, for just this once, it's a random other customer, and you could do that as well. Okay, foreign trade, again, we've discussed, and prepayment, we touched on. The flow of this transaction here, again, this has got an open status. Orders can be released. Once it's released, it means it cannot be edited anymore, and that could also piggyback on an approval. So before you can process or send or print an order, you might want to first have it approved and or released. Then a really cool screen here is the statistics screen, and this shows you what's going on with this order. So what the order amount is, what the invoice amounts are. Again, we can say show more, and then we have weights as well. So if shipping is a big thing for you, you can have weights here as well. The system also actually tracks your cost of sales as we go. So what I mean by that is, it will, if you do cost allocations to selling items, so let's say you import and sell, you might only know what the final cost of sale is of that item a month after you've sold it, or more in certain cases. So what you could actually do is you could do a cost allocation, a month or 6 weeks or whenever later, allocate cost to the selling lines on your item, and Business Central will automatically adjust the cost of sales transactions for you. And then you can obviously see what the original profit is and the adjusted profit is, and percentages as well. So that, again, it comes down to cash flow and your sales reporting. So you can actually know not just sort of fictional GP, but actual GP. The same thing goes obviously on the invoicing, shipping, and so forth. So prepayments we discussed, and then also you can look at the customer balances at the same time. So from one screen on the order, you can know how likely is this customer going to pay us on time, and then what is the statistics on this order. So if this was an invoice later and I've had cost allocations, just to show you what the cost allocation looks like, is on this order on invoice later, on a separate order in cost allocation journal, we could then go and add, let's say, for example, freight. Okay, I'm just getting all those dates. Let's just say it's going to be one of that amount. And then what I can do is on my quantities here, I can go assign. I can go assign that cost to the lines, and you can assign that by quantity. And what's cool here is it shows you the gross weight and unit volume of the item. So you could effectively make a very educated. In this case, I've assigned, I can either assign by quantity. So I could have made my quantity 100 and then assign as percentages, for example. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just go and obviously you can suggest it as well. Close that, and now I would have assigned that 100, or what was it, 1,234 here. Again, rand in this case because that's currency, to the top line, and that would then in my statistics reflect a different cost of sales. Show you, so you can see now, well, I'm actually making a loss of 11% or 245 rand. So that's real time and post dated. So I could have come and do that cost allocation after the invoice process. It fixes the ledger entries and gives you adjusted profit. Again, obviously, because I'm doing this off the order, it's not adjusted, it's original. It's only what I do after the invoice is processed, which will be the adjusted percentages. Okay, so that's sales orders for you. And again, with this exactly the same logic applies. It's just instead of sales, you've got purchase orders, and again, you can go configure how things are received. Interesting is same thing here. We could have a bill to a buy from and a pay to vendor. So I could say, well, I buy from my local branch, but I pay a head office, for example, and the system will be aware of it. Yep, and again, approvals apply here, and you can also create your documents as well. Where Business Central is slightly different than typical systems that we might be aware of, is that it also handles what we call purchase return and sales return orders. And this is to accommodate the warehouse management. So, you might have a purchase return order. So the customer says, okay, I want to return something. That will come in for inspection first before you would accept it and then process that. So you could effectively have that holding document to say we're expecting a return coming in. When it's in, approve it, and then only will it process it as a credit on the account. You can obviously skip that as well and just do a purchase credit memo or a sales credit memo. Statements would work as exactly as you would expect it in the South African market. Just to show you again, off of this screen, all the features that go around. So purchases and selling. So you obviously do all of the reports and features you'd expect is here. Okay, so maybe just to show you under sales as well. Select typical customers, and then I could go to, for example, my you can also send reminders, which is quite a cool report. Yeah. So the other thing that I've touched on briefly is cash flow. So let's go have a look at this cash flow forecast. Now, again, like I said, cash flow forecasts can also include AI and run off of AI. So let's just go and see how this was configured. Let's create a new one. So in fact, that's fine. I can just go from here and go look at the cash flow. So this is where I could add manual entries to the cash flow that the system won't be aware of. And from here, obviously I have to have stats, so I can see what is my liquid funds, receivables, sales, service, fixed asset disposals coming up, payables, and so forth. This is okay. My cash flow forecast by period obviously is also available here. So I can show by period, what am I expected to receive. I can drill in. This is now my receivables. Obviously, it's in this posted sales invoices. It can also do sales. So you can see I've got in Friday, the April 30th, I've got a sales order that I'm expecting to pay as well. So this is all the detailed data views of this. And then obviously, I showed you earlier on the role center. The Cloud Intelligent Insights. I'll just show that to you again. Just give me 1 second to reload here. So if we're going to go to my Intelligent Cloud Insights here, obviously this is now where you've got more AI-driven things. So you've got Power BI as well, it's not configured, but then you've got your Azure cash flow here. And again, you can change how you want to see it. So at the moment, we're looking at by month. If I want to see it by quarter, for just some more points on it, you'll be able to see, and I can see what each amount is made up of. And then the red line being my total net flow. The other insights here are text-based, so cash available, sales profitability, net income. And then you've got, for example, there are 10 of your customers are late with their payments to you. So let's go look at those 10. It shows you the invoices. So from here, what I can do is I can again select them. And maybe what I want to do is create reminders for them. Reminders is literally just something that goes to the customer that logs that it's been sent to them that they need to pay you. Finance charge, your credits, your interests that you might charge. And then what you can also do is obviously show the documents and the entries, and then it goes to the customer. So yeah, that's Business Central's accounting modules in a nutshell.